Hello, welcome back. So I have been busy, very busy over the last few months. However, I'd like to give an update to the channel. Later on, I'll be introducing or talking about 3 different topics regarding the village, Cixi village, Sunway village, however you want to call it. The first thing I'd like to talk about, number 1, is this pamphlet here. So this pamphlet is a physical pamphlet that was printed out. It says here, I don't have the actual physical pamphlet right now. It is in a different country right now and I don't have access to it. However, I do have the digital version of this one. And I also have the translated version of it in English. I will not be disseminating this pamphlet out, but we'll talk about page by page of what this actual pamphlet is about. First of all, let's read what the pamphlet says. It says, Sunway, Canton Province, Sunway District of the Chu family right here, Cixi village, Sunway village right here. Cixi village, sorry. 100-year history from 1880, the year 1880 to 1980. So basically it talks about Sunway village of Canton Province, talks about the Chu family who lives there, the 100-year history from 1880 to 1980. So this person here who wrote this pamphlet, what's his name? Zhao Randong in Mandarin. He is author of this pamphlet here, and as you may know, Zhao Randong, he's one of the original donors of the village Bunhao Elementary School, or Bunho Elementary School. Also one of the original donors to the middle school that opened up in the 1980s, I believe. So he contributed a lot of money, a lot of time to the village, and he was actually one of the village leaders at that particular time. He was born in the village, he was raised in the village, and he eventually immigrated to the US with his family sometime in the 1920s. So over 100 years ago, he went to the US with his family and authored this pamphlet here, 100-year history, talks about his history, talks about the history of the village, and how the village has changed from before to now. Let's say the now is the present time, 1980. So I'll be talking about the translated version of this in English later on. So this is the first thing I'd like to talk about. The second thing I would like to talk about is this book here. Of course, it is the book that we have focused on before. However, I like to go page by page a certain characteristics of what you could find in this genealogy book. For example, here, if you were to take a look at this particular page here, let's just zoom in a little bit here. You will see certain stuff that you would not necessarily find in a typical genealogy book, especially one that's based in the US. For example, here, you could tell this family here says it immigrated, this particular person immigrated to the United States. That's what it says right here. And talks about where they immigrated to, talks about their jobs here, some of them. This person was perhaps a painter. And you could talk about this person here. This person, of course, he is from this dynasty here. Oh, so you cannot see. But the person here chose to name all their kids here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because it's 5, that means it's 5 males. This person married this person here. See the last name here. That's the last name of the person who he married, so that's his wife's name. This person also married someone from the Chu family. This person married someone from the Ma family. This person went to the US. This person moved from the Chu family here. This person also went to the US. So many people went to the US. You look through this book here. Let's zoom out. You can see that some people went to the US. Some people went to Canada. Let's see if I can find something. Sometimes it talks about what university they went to. For example, here, he went to a university here. 大学生, so he was a student here at least. This one here, also the same. So it talks about different universities, talks about the jobs, who they married, and their wife's surname. That doesn't necessarily talk about the wife's full name, but talks about the wife's surname here. Here's the Lam family, the Lee family here, and so on. So we'll talk more in detail about this genealogy book. What does it actually include? What does it not include, and so on like that. And lastly, what I'd like to talk about is why I have been so busy recently. Well, not necessarily so busy, because I've been partly lazy. I like to talk about my own son. I have named my son according to this Chu genealogy book here. Why? I like to talk about why I named him according to the Chu genealogy book, and I like to talk about his name, without actually giving out his name, of course. And I like to talk about how I named him in accordance to English and to Chinese standards. So that's the 3 things I like to talk about. 1 is the pamphlet on this iPad later on. 2 is the book. 3 is actually my son's name, how I named him and why I named him in accordance to Chinese and English naming schemes. So we'll talk about that sometime in the future. Thank you. Bye.